What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the PS Vita 2. Now, not confirmed or anything, and I know I said that maybe weirdly in the beginning, but the PS Vita is, without a doubt, in my mind, the greatest gaming handheld console of all time. And I say that only partially kidding. Okay, is it really the best one? Probably not. Does it hold a very special place in my and hopefully other people's hearts? I think it does. The running joke with PS Vita is that we, the fans, are the ones who killed it, right? Now, that's a joke because really Sony killed it. They didn't support it enough. But the console is so good. And I actually just broke my Vita out of retirement around a month or two ago. I played remember Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified for it. Terrible game, but I actually have it physically, and I made a video on my third channel, my retrospective channel podcast, now Back to the Past. It's a great video and not a great game. This is a great console, and again, we didn't buy it. The fans didn't support it, but we didn't support it because Sony didn't support it, okay? If you were to make a Vita 2, you better give it your all. And I got to be real, and I actually said this on Twitter. The way they've handled the PS VR 2, I have exactly zero confidence that this will be successful. Now, does that mean I don't want it? No. Give me the PS Vita 2 today, tomorrow even, if you want. I will take it. I would buy it day one. I would love it like my own, just like I did the original Vita. Will it succeed? No. In fact, I think it would be a massive failure because Sony, just for whatever reason, doesn't know how to support these things. And it's not just Sony. Technically, you need a wide range of developers that are not just your own to do stuff. And when they don't do stuff, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? I get it. I understand it. But the PS Vita was successful, at least in my eyes, because it gave us some really great gems. I think of Gravity Rush is really the first one in my mind, Tearaway, et cetera, et cetera. But also, it came out at just a perfect time of this renaissance, I believe, of PlayStation games. The PS3 had so many greats that Sony just flat out doesn't care about anymore, but they had a lot of greats. And you could play so many of them, or they came with Vita literal versions, right, for that. And I just remember playing, the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royales of the world, Resogun. I have the Platinum Trophy, actually, for both those games on the Vita, as well as the PlayStation consoles. Love it. So what we have, I know I haven't even addressed the freaking rumor yet. There's a rumor that they're making a handheld console that is not streaming, right? So that's like the big thing. Now, the specs are kind of in flux. Nobody can nail down exactly what this thing would be. The rumor is it would be at least 2 years out. So they're like in development of it now. It's not gotten the green light yet. So technically they could cancel it, okay? They could say, we're not happy with what's going on. We're not doing it. It's in that phase. 2 years out. And it would be compatible with PS4, and they would have some sort of update that can make it compatible with PS5. There's a risk there because in 2 years from now, you're looking at the PS5 Pro would already be out, I imagine. And so you're 2026. 2 years after that, the PS6 would come out. So it's risky in the sense that you are a very long time away from the PS4, right? PS4 was, 2013, I believe, or November 2013. So you'd be in 26. You'd be 13 years after the PS4, and it would work with PS4 games. I mean, I guess there's still technically PS4 games that are coming out right now for some reason, so I guess I understand it. And it would work for PS5. All right, obviously that makes a lot of sense. But then 2 years later, the PS6 would come out, and then I think you would have a desire from fans to have something happen, with that as well. Now, I guess you could just make another one. If this is real and this actually happens, it shows it actually shows just like one thing, Sony's willingness of mobile technology. And I think it makes sense. I think Xbox should do it. I think everybody should do it. I don't really play them that much, because I have the computer and I have the consoles. My wife has the ROG Ally or Rogue Ally, however you're supposed to say it. I know what the Steam Deck is. I've seen and all that jazz. There's some really impressive tech and hardware on the go now. Not to mention, I gotta be real, the king of all of them in the Nintendo Switch. And then now, or very, very soon, the Switch 2. You can't leave out the king, right? So Nintendo really does crush it. They've crushed it with handhelds basically forever, and they're going to continue to. So there's an appetite. I actually think, I don't even think it's something you can argue. I think the Switch is literally what did this. And then other companies saw that and said, well, we can kind of do that as well, right? So yeah, Xbox, jump on in. PlayStation, PlayStation just did this with the PlayStation Portal. Now, do I think that was successful? No. Do I think that many people bought it? No. I really, really don't. But these are accessories that kind of just, I guess, help the ecosystem of any of them, not just PlayStation, right? They just help everything. So I can absolutely see them doing it. I think 2 years from now, I don't know if it'd be too late, right? Because I really think we're kind of, I don't know if we're right in the middle, but I think we're in this like Renaissance era of handheld consoles. I don't know if we're in the middle, because I guess the point is, if we're in the middle 2 years from now you're maybe you're towards the end. Maybe you're not, but maybe you are, right? So I don't want a Vita 2. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm like very much assuming. If a Vita 2 happens, I want it to come out in the best possible way, right? I don't want it to come out as the fad is dying, and people aren't into it anymore, except for maybe the Switch 2, because then the Vita 2 stands no chance. I don't know. I think it would work. I feel like there'd be an appetite. How many people? What kind of appetite? Well, again, people did not support the Vita, but Sony didn't support the Vita. Going into the Vita 2, you'd hope and think that Sony would have a change of plans and really would know what they're doing. And I gotta be like, I like PlayStation. I talk about PlayStation all the time. I gotta be real. Like, you look at the VR2, and I have the first one. I have PSVR, but not VR2. I think it's priced okay for what it is, but it's $600. I'm not gonna do that. I can't justify that to myself, especially for the games. There's not any games that really sell me to buy something for $600, right? Maybe if it dropped a couple hundred, I don't know. But you look at what they've done. And it is a criticism. You look at what they've done with the PSVR 2, it's been really bad. In fact, there's multiple times I kind of forget it exists in the first place, and my entire life is supposed to be about knowing about games, and I classically, forget about it. So, all jokes aside, I don't think they've done it well. I don't really think it's all their fault either. I think, again, it's like the ecosystem. I don't think there's enough developers. I think, obviously, games take so long. I just don't think there's a killer app for the, VR2. It's just like that. Now, maybe the Vita would stand a better chance because, like I said, for the first one, something that organically happens is it's just helped out by the era it's in. If you're in a good era of gaming, and it does need to be primarily PlayStation. So again, you go back to that PS3, and they had a Resistance game for it. You had Killzone, but you could play Sly Cooper on it. Like I said, you could play Resogun, you could play All Stars. So there was a lot, and those are just some of the first ones that kind of pop in my head. Gravity Rush gets introduced there and eventually becomes bigger. You know what I mean? Uncharted gets one. So they had stuff. They absolutely had stuff, but it was also helped out by the era. Is the era we're in right now for PlayStation as strong as that era in the late 2000s, early 2010s, maybe a little bit later than that, right? For the Vita, I actually would say no. I actually believe it was stronger then, just because it's more of my kind of classical favorites than it is now. But that doesn't mean it wouldn't work. I think it would work. I really believe it would work. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.